Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the last match before the quarterfinals. That will be South Africa versus New Zealand. Now, South Africa have not, at this current point in time, qualified for the next stage. But if they even get themselves within, I believe it is 14 points, or sorry, it might even be within 7 of New Zealand, they'll get that bonus point and that would advance them through to the next stage. France currently sit on 4 points with their points differential of -5. In terms of that Pool A, Ireland are sitting there with 4 points, points differential of -21. So all South Africa need, and they would actually be the top qualifier if they were able to do so, is to get themselves within the 7. Now, of course, if they win this matchup, it would completely change it. Currently, the way that the quarters sit, Australia versus Great Britain would be the first match, Argentina, Ireland the second, Spain, Fiji the third, and New Zealand versus France the fourth. But, like I said, there's only one change that can change how that is sitting, and that would be none other than, of course, the Blitzboks. And they are one of those sides that have been extremely strong throughout the Sevens circuit. They are currently sitting in, I believe it is third equal, although they are sitting in fourth technically, same points as the Fijians. And definitely this is a game to watch out for when it comes to that head-to-head. Both New Zealand and both New Zealand and South Africa have had quite the rivalry at times in the Sevens circuit. The starting lineup, it is going to be as follows: Kua Nokia, Ryan Oosterhuizen, Tristan Lades, Saviwe Soyas-Wapi, Shilton van Wyk, and Selvin Davids alongside Impivisa. So overall, a very strong looking Blitzboks lineup for the New Zealanders. It is Cody Vai, Narohi McGarvey Black, Regan Ware, Tony Nyashu, Dylan Collier, Amanaki Nicole, and Joe Weber as the last man in the starting lineup. We are just waiting for Australia versus Uruguay to come to a close so that we will then be ready to go. We have got come on New Zealand, says Manny M. And we have got go New Zealand. Good afternoon, Hamish. Duffy third wicket, says Blues Nate. See, the last I saw it was about 70 for none. No sound, says Cornelius. I would recommend turning it up then because I believe we're all good sound-wise. Hopefully a couple other people can help us out in that department. I would like to think someone else would have said something, though, by now if we weren't having any noise. And in fact, what we will do is we'll just load up the live stream now and have a quick look for Cornelius. And hopefully New Zealand wins. But the South Africans will be angry after losing to Australia. Yeah, it is all going well. I think Cornelius needs the volume dial switched up a little bit more. But Australia, with only 20 seconds remaining, they will win their game up against the Uruguayans. So that will put them through as another team qualified. And it's just mainly that game up against Argentina as well as that game up against New Zealand. They can have a bit of a switch. Scott Dawson has sets out as fine. Morning all from a cool cake down, says Nigel. The Blitzboks are going to struggle to get the dub here. New Zealand win, says Lyle. And that's the thing. Like, if South Africa are to be defeated in this game, which I honestly, going into this contest, didn't think the Blitzboks would be sitting where they are. They were dominated by Australia in a way that we haven't seen in quite some time. That was, I believe, Australia's best performance on the Sevens circuit in honestly this whole season. And unfortunately for South Africa, they were the side that the Australians peaked up against. So now the South Africans need a point of some regard. Sound fine now, thanks, says Cornelius. And hi again, Hamish, kia ora, Blues Nate, and the Blitzboks going to struggle. But that's the thing. They can find their rhythm, the Blitzies, and then as soon as they do, they're normally an extremely hard side to stop. When they score 1 or 2 tries near the start of a game, they just keep on firing. I should just clarify quickly for anyone who is wondering about who the Blitzboks would play. If they manage to qualify for the quarterfinals, they will be the best third place team. And that would mean that they go head-to-head more than likely with first in Pool B, which would be New Zealand. So if the South Africans get within the 7 and they receive their bonus point, I know that I've said this many times and it's probably getting annoying, but just clarifying, South Africa get within 7 or win this game, they will manage to get themselves up against New Zealand in the quarters. And that game will be taking place at 1:10 a.m. New Zealand time. What time are they playing? They are making their way out onto the field right now. Once again, for New Zealand starting lineup, it is Tony Nashu, alongside Regan Ware, Narohi McGarvey Black, Cody Vai, Dylan Collier, Amanaki Nicole, and Joe Weber, the last man in the starting 7 for the South Africans. Kua Nokia, Ryan Oosterhuizen, Tristan Lades, Saviwe Soyas-Wapi, Shilton van Wyk, Selvin Davids, and Impivisa. A very good balance of pace and power in the South African side. All they have to do is just get it right. 14 minutes within 7 or the win. It's all that they'll be after. Currently their points differential does sit on 7, so theoretically they can still qualify first in this group if they were to beat New Zealand by, I believe it would be 30 plus points, which sounds like quite the task, but in saying that, in fact their points differential was 14, so they would have to beat New Zealand by 27. We'll just say 28. It's nice and easy. In the world of sevens, 4 converted tries more than New Zealand, and it's kicked off by the South Africans. Nicely taken by Naroi McGarvey Black. Now, New Zealand can be a little bit strategic with how they play this game. They will know that they have to beat South Africa by a certain margin. That is already going to be the penalty going the way of the Blitzboks. Tristan Lates goes off to the right-hand side here. Nokia, 5 metres out, interception pass is thrown, and Naroi McGarvey Black now has the possession for the Kiwis. Cody Vai going to pin his ears back. Tackled by Tristan Lates. Ball is almost there for him, but the penalty does go the way of the Kiwis. Dylan Collier running it sideways. And across to Naroi McGarvey Black again. Already these two sides showing quite a bit of intensity throughout the early stages, which they always do when they go head to head. McGarvey Black and across to Amanaki Nicole. Now Tony Nyashu had Regan Weir with him on the outside. Decides against the offload, just lets it hit the turf. Did Aussie win earlier? Says Hanoi. They did indeed. So Australia have qualified and they will face Great Britain more than likely. Although there is also a chance that South Africa can actually finish second in this group as well, as Australia have their points differential of around that same as New Zealand, about plus 36. So either way, South Africa either need a massive win or just within 7, and they will go through to the quarterfinals. Regan Weir trying to find his way through. It's a little bit high from Saviwe Suez-Wapi yet again. Keeps on riding up with those tackles, getting himself in a little bit of trouble. Nice step there from Cody Vai. Loose ball picked up by Sullivan Davids. Offloaded now, quick hands from MP Vesa, but the ref says it's forward, but the initial advantage was already in play. So it will be South Africa who have got themselves the scrum feed now, but that is a intense 2 minutes that these sides have just played. Hardly any breathing time and just express pace all the way through. For these sides, they do know how absolutely crucial this one can be. They have just shown there South Africa's defence 2025 tries conceded. They have conceded 45, which I believe is the lowest out of any side. What other games today, says Mohideen? We have got the Super Rugby match that has taken place. We're going to be doing the semi-finals, the quarterfinals of the Sevens. And alongside that, we've also got matches of the URC2. So still another probably 8 live streams for today. Beautiful run from Shilton Van Wyk. Can't get through though. Tristan Lates trying to protect that ball, and New Zealand get the penalty. Really strategic play there from Tony Nashu. In fact, that time it was Narohi McGarvey Black. I get exhausted listening to Seven, says Robert. Yeah, it is fast-paced. And it is non-stop action. The advantage is over. South Africa with MP Vesa trying to get that steal now on the short side. It is going to be Amanaki Nicole. Looks like Saviwe Suez-Wapi is going to be able to catch him, but pops it up on the inside to Collier. Again dragged down. Saviwe Suez-Wapi doesn't take the ball clean. Regan Weir now manages to hang on to it, and Rhino stays in through the side in an offside position. Does give away the penalty. Good morning, Hamish from Cape Town. I was actually awake at 4 a.m, says Vaughan there. And now going off to the left-hand side. Cody Vai breaks through and scores the try out wide. And New Zealand now have taken the lead in this contest. But I watched the Fiji game this morning, so an hour ago, says Vaughan. Yeah, we did end up covering that Fiji versus Argentina game. That was our first of the day 2. And try time for New Zealand, says Matthew. I don't know if I want to watch this. Well, in about 10 minutes' time, you'll know. Because either South Africa will be within that 7, which at the moment they are still. So 7 or less would get them through to the next stage, as they would get the bonus point for being within 7. But it's going to be crucial that they find some form of point from this contest, whether that is a win or whether that is just the within 7. That's going to be overcooked for the top of the South African jumper. They have managed to get the ball still. Zealand Sevens goes across to Shilton van Wyk. And the middle, Kieran Nokia trying to show his pace. But Tony Nashu was right there ready to go for the ball. And he does get the advantage in his favour. Now, his hands were down first. And sometimes those can be penalised the other direction. But now passed out wide for New Zealand. Amanaki Nicole. It's been a really tough group. Someone like Uruguay just seemed like they never really stood a chance. They will be the only side in this competition to leave pointless in terms of the table. Now Cody Vai sitting on the 22-metre line here for New Zealand. 5-0 up. They did miss that initial kick. I already have my Crusaders shirt on, so I'm ready for Super Rugby in a couple minutes' time, says Vaughan. And yeah, we are pretty much going straight from this game to that Super Rugby live stream. Now Joe Weber flicks it on the inside to Tony Nashu. Across to Amanaki to go. In fact, this time it's Collier. He turned to his back, but he gets the ball down, and New Zealand score their second. And the thing is, New Zealand will know if they win this game by a big margin, they don't have to face South Africa in the quarterfinals, because that is what is on the line. If the Blitzboks get through, they will face the Kiwis again in a knockout rugby. South Africa's not really the side that you want to be drawing. So the Kiwis, they have a bit to play for here too. Not just a win, but a comfortable one would knock the Blitzboks out. And Go Crusaders can't wait, says Matthew. And try time, says Matthew, in there as well. Conversion is good, so that will make the score now 12-0 in favour of New Zealand. The way that the quarterfinals currently sit, it would be Australia, Great Britain, Argentina, Ireland, Spain, Fiji, and New Zealand versus France. That one is going to go into touch there. Zealand Sevens, although the penalty has actually gone the way of South Africa, there was no clear release. Now the Blitzboks with Tristan Lades. They are going to go for that quick tap. Oh no, in fact, they're going to kick this one into touch. A little bit of a different tactic there from the Blitzboks. Gets them down to the halfway line. They haven't really had a huge amount of the ball inside of New Zealand's half. This would be a big chance here. If they score now, they are back within those quarterfinals and in that window that they need to be. Selvin Davids going to be throwing this ball in. It's gone over the top, but it will sit up for Tristan Lades, although he has knocked that ball on. Amanaki Nicole offloads it back to Narohi McGarvey Black. If New Zealand score now, it's going to have to be a massive one for South Africa in the second half. Nokia, big shot coming in, kick downfield from Shilton van Wyk. I think New Zealand, will they consider kicking this one into touch? No, they are going to run it one more time. Tony Nashu. They want one more here, the Kiwis. Amanaki Nicole goes off to Narohi McGarvey Black again. Big throw over the top. Selvin Davids picks the ball up, but he's knocked it on, unfortunately, for South Africa. And that was all but a crucial mistake from the All Black Sevens right at the end of the first half. And another try, says Matthew there. And they were looking for one more, although they weren't able to get it in the end. Still the lead of 12 points to 0. So as we are currently sitting, it would mean that South Africa were knocked out and would be playing in the 9th place semis, which are actually taking place in the relatively near future. I believe looking there, it's the 9th, best 3rd versus best 4th is at 9:38 p.m. New Zealand time is when that match would be happening. But I honestly didn't even think of them not making the quarterfinal. A knock on by Polo, says Rape. Are you covering the Cup quarterfinals? We are going to be covering the quarterfinals of the Sevens. We haven't scheduled them as of yet, just because we had to wait to find out who exactly was going to be playing who. All Black Sevens need to do some catching. Practice big time, says Scott Dawson. Yeah, there's been quite a few handling errors. I think humidity is playing a little bit of a factor out there on the field, but yeah, still probably a few too many drop balls than both sides would have liked. However, Spain did well in this in its group. Yeah, definitely after losing their first contest. Like, I did think when they lost that first game, that was them done. But they fought back well, managing to beat France, and in the end actually qualifying, I believe it was first. Yeah, they managed to get ahead of Great Britain. And they will be playing up against the Fijians. Could be an entertaining quarterfinal morning. So, sir, how you doing? Says Sebastian, doing extremely well, excited. Plenty of rugby still to come, of course. Nice catch by Bracewell. Good work, Nathan Smith. says Blues Nate, but the second half is just about to take place this weekend of Super Streams. Of Super seems empty without Chiefs and the Blues, says Anoya. Only the 4 matches taken place. I believe it's only one of 2 weekends where we have 4 games rather than the 6, but it is a rest week, which is, I'm sure, very welcomed by the Chiefs and Blues. That ball's going to go into the hands of Shilton Van Wyk. South Africa have got themselves their hands on the ball, although they have given it up. New Zealand giving away the penalty here, though. So South Africa will get penalty inside of their 22. New Zealand, I need to catching practice with bricks. They won't drop those. Is this the men's? It certainly is. So I think most of the women's quarterfinals have already been confirmed. Just see here. First one will be Fiji versus Canada, New Zealand versus Brazil, Australia versus USA, and France versus Japan. They are the 4 matches back from the diary. Or sorry, from the dairy, I should say. How we doing? Doing very well. Excited to see what happens in this next 6 minutes. I do feel like South Africa have a comeback in them. And like I've mentioned multiple times, they don't even have to win this game just to be within the 7. But of course, if you aim for the win, you'll get a lot closer. So Viwe Sui's Wapi going to be taken down about 35 metres out from the Blitzboks line. Tristan Lades goes across to Selvin Davids now. Got so much pace. Definitely down their wing for Kua Nokia. But New Zealand's defence does deserve a huge amount of credit for what they've been able to do throughout that first half. Just not allowing that Blitzboks line break, which often will lead to a try. Here comes Tristan Lades. Passes across there to Impivisa, putting in the hard yards for these South Africans. 5.5 minutes remaining. I should mention we're only 8 minutes away from Crusaders versus Moana Pacifica starting up. I was now asking my friend jokingly, what is happening to your Blitzboks? Says Vaughan, it's going to be a penalty going the way of New Zealand. There's Wapi a little bit slow, getting back to his feet. I don't think he's too happy that Amanaki Nicole didn't help him up, although he did have the ball in his hands, ready to kick this one into touch. I do agree New Zealand and Australia are all winning in the women, making it broad than men, says Brandon. I mean, we have seen, Fijiana made it to the final of the last one, which was absolutely awesome for them. Oh, okay. 15-19 is the average score between New Zealand and South Africa. So 4 points difference in that regard from 105 matches, which means that this one could still have a late tail in the tape. 5 minutes remaining. Nicely claimed by New Zealand. Now Collier going across to the right-hand side. Regan Weir, great low tackle made on him by Shilton Van Wyk. Now another penalty does go the way of New Zealand. This time it is offside against South Africa. Discipline starting to sneak in and be a bit of a problem. If we get a certain amount of drop balls, when I play rugby, my dad used to line us up at practice and bullet past the bricks at our heads, so we had to catch them. Sounds very violent. Looks like another change is going to be made here. Ollie Mathis comes on for New Zealand. 4.5 minutes left in this contest. South Africa know now it is getting close to that do or die stage. They either need something extremely soon. New Zealand have only led at halftime in 9 of their 23 games this season, so a bit of a rarity. I wonder how many of those they went on to win, though. It looks like Reinders makes his way on for the Blitzboks. Rhinus de Hazen, he will make his way from the field. Now, quick tap taken by the Kiwis. 4.5 minutes remaining. Roy McGarvey Black almost ended up running into the referee. Amanaki Nicole with a big fend there on Ricardo. James Duarte just gets rid of him and scores the try. Duarte not happy with his defence. And now the Kiwis have got themselves even more of a lead here. This will now mean that South Africa need 2 tries in the next 4 minutes to be able to secure a spot in the quarterfinals. It is becoming harder and harder. Yeah, just grabbed him by the jersey there. And Duarte normally not outpaced by too many people, but Amanaki Nicole is having a great game of rugby. And now the kick has missed away to the side. Still, it means, though, that South Africa do need the 2 tries. Or at least a try and then maybe a 3 at the end. Taking the drop kick if it's on offer, if it helps secure their spot. But either way, they need to be the next team to score. And Ricardo James Duarte taking that ball nicely high Going short side now, Donovan Don can't break through. Again, the pressure in the breakdown, but New Zealand were offside. Was in front of the mark there, Xander Rangers. Hamish, not a good weekend for the Blitzboks. Says Bruce. Yeah, I mean, they went all right in their first game up against Uruguay, winning it by about 40 points to 7 or something. And, like, honestly, that game up against Australia, with how strong Australia were, I mentioned about it already, their best game of the season by far. I think they would have beaten every single team on the circuit with how they played, which is a bold statement, but they were lethal in terms of their decision making. And then now they're up against New Zealand, who have found their own decent amount of form here moving forward. Now, nice pass on the outside, though. It is not over yet for the South Africans. Donovan On cuts back in, 10 metres out from the line. That is a penalty against Brady Rush. So there might be a bit of an injury here for Donovan Don too. Not what the Blitzboks want here. Right, time has been turned off. This does not look good for the number 15. I want to say it's shoulder or something up top. Yeah, it looks like he doesn't really want to move his left arm here, Donovan Don. 8 tournaments, 10 tries. However, what are you on about, Hamish? Australia hasn't changed, says Brandon. I mean, they were struggling a little bit in the game up against Uruguay, but if you go back and watch that game up against the South Africans again, Australia were just different in that contest. There are other ones not so much. They got beaten by New Zealand in the first one. Were you covering any New Zealand rugby today? Says Stephen, we are hopefully doing their... Wait, I assume you're talking Super Rugby, and we are going to be covering that in about 3 minutes' time in the matchup between the Crusaders and Moana Pacifica. I don't even play rugby, and my shoulder is fudged, says Nov Mum. And 40 balls, 75 runs for Pakistan. And 12-0 so far, right? It's actually 17-0. The scoreboard did an update. I'll move my mouse. There we go. So South Africa do need to score twice within this next 2 minutes to get the losing bonus point. Like they've just mentioned, Ireland, other sides that could lose their spot. Nice step coming from the Walt Human. And once again, the ball stolen in the breakdown from New Zealand. It is now really going to be tough for the Blitzboks, but that ball sitting up. Looks like there is an injury for New Zealand too. South Africa trying to get in that breakdown. And they give away another penalty. No clear release is the call from the referee. New Zealand now have 80 seconds left. And like I said, the Kiwis would have known that if South Africa were within 7, they would end up in the position of playing them for the quarterfinals. So they did not want that. Instead, they will have to face the French, which is not exactly much easier. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see exactly whether or not New Zealand can get themselves one more. We've got an interruption at the moment on Sky. They're going to be trying their best to get the coverage back. Hopefully we get to see it for the final couple of moments. Definitely if there is a late comeback coming from the Blitzboks. Yeah, in 2 minutes' time, we are going to be popping over to Moana Pacifica versus the Crusaders. That game taking place in Christchurch. While we wait for the interruption to end, I will mention the other quarterfinals. If this is the way that it's going to currently sit, in fact, now we are back. The quarterfinals will be Australia versus Great Britain, Argentina versus Ireland, Spain versus Fiji, and New Zealand versus France. That is the way that it would be sitting unless the South Africans can get themselves 2 tries, or at least a try and something. It's going to be tough. 55 seconds remaining now. Andrew Newstub ready to throw this ball in. South Africa don't really get a decent jump at it. Amanaki Nicole goes back across to Newstub. The Blitzboks, a side that, honestly, I thought we were going to go quite far in this competition, but it looks like it's going to be maybe just not quite there. Tournament Xander Rangers tackled within his own 22, which means they have to go 75 metres down the field for them to be able to get themselves the try. They give away another penalty as the most praise you've used of the Blitzboks, says Cornelius. Unfortunately, they just haven't really had any ball security throughout this match. Here comes the Wild Human, 15 seconds. I don't think he was going to make it, but Shilton van Wyk, he can run the 100 in less than that. Kicks the ball forward. One more chance here. 7 seconds remaining. The Wild Human with the wide cutout pass. I think the clock's going to beat them. South Africa score and 1 second past full time. Have they got time? Or have they just missed out? I think they'll be checking it here. That kick has gone over. Do they have time? I think they have 1 second left now, apparent. No. There's the whistle from the referee. See, in that scenario, I wonder whether or not South Africa would have been better off saying we don't want to take the kick at the post and just wanted to continue playing. But that will be the end of this contest, ladies and gents. Score 17 points to 7. South Africa knocked out of the Hong Kong Sevens. They will be back for a game in only a few hours' time, which we are hoping to cover on the channel. But we are now popping over to that next live stream between the Crusaders and Moana Pacifica. So I will see you guys for the next one.